Welcome to Calculus for Economics. It's Monday, April 13th, and I wanted to take a few minutes to talk about our end of semester plan. But before I do that, let me apologize for the amount of time it's been since I spoke with you last. Thursday and Friday of last week, I had some personal business that came up that I needed to take care of, and it prevented me from taking the time I needed to get out homework assignments and make videos and so on. So please bear with me here. And I realize that this happens to you guys too. And so again, let me say that if you have issues with deadlines on some of the assignments or things like that, let me know, and I'm sure we can work out an extension or something like that. I did have some time to think about how we want to wrap the semester up. This is our second to last week of class. And given all the disruptions, there were obviously going to have to be some adjustments to the syllabus and so on. And so I've thought a lot about that, and here's what I've come up with. So let me just take you through some slides real quick to explain the idea here. So, as far as online homework goes, we're going to continue that as we have. So, I'll be getting a new video out to you tomorrow, and there'll be an associated homework, and we'll probably have time for 3 or 4 more of those over the course of the semester. And again, contact me via email if you need extensions or help or consultations or for whatever reason. Uh, I'm here to help. The final exam in this class is going to be optional, um, and I'll explain what I mean by that more detail in just a second. But if you elect to take it, I'm going to email the exam to you. You will be asked to take it in a single 3-hour setting. It will be open book, and of course, you can use your calculator, but you're honor bound not to use any other resources like internet or whatever. And then after you're done, I'll ask you to record the time you began and finished the exam on the front page, and then make a scan or photo of your responses and email that back to me. And then I will grade it, and I will let you know your grade, of course, as soon as it's available. But as I said, the exam is optional. And so, what are the options? Well, option one would be just to not take the final at all. In that case, I would compute your course average as essentially described by the syllabus, taking into account what we've been able to cover and not cover given the coronavirus situation. So 15% of your final grade would still be the homework average. And then test one would still count for 20% of your course grade. And so those would be the only two components. And those would be weighted just like they were in the original syllabus. But of course, we didn't cover everything and we didn't have all the tests in the initial syllabus. And so that would be the formula there that would wind up computing your final grade. And I'll show you an example of how that would work in just a second. Option two would be to take the final exam. And in this case, your course grade would be computed on the same basic idea, that is, according to the syllabus, taking into account what we've done and haven't done. So you'd still have 15% homework grade, 20% test one, and 25% for the final. But that would only account for 60% of the total points that are in the syllabus, and so that's why I'd be dividing by the 0.60. And so that would be the option if you took the final exam. So let's run through a couple of examples to see how that works. Suppose you took option one, for instance, no final. And let's just suppose that a student had a homework average of 85 and they made a 60 on test one. Then, calculating the course average, as I described earlier, 15% of the homework average plus 20% of test one and then divided by the total weights associated with both of those, you would wind up with a 74.3% average for the course. Okay, so what if this same student had elected to take the final? Well, that would be option 2. So now we would have a homework average of 85, a test 1 of 60, and suppose on the final exam the student did really well. Suppose they made a 90 on the final exam. So now the course average would be computed with that final exam included. And the result would be about an 81 for a final course average. So you can see that if you do well on the final, that does have the potential to improve your course grade. In this particular case, it went up from a 74.3 to a 80.8. Of course, what would happen in any individual case would depend totally on these numbers here. And if you'd like, I would be happy to run through your grades for you in an email, although I'm sure you could do that yourself, just plugging in the numbers here like I've been doing. I need to know which option you're going to be choosing by this coming Sunday at 11 p.m. And actually, what I'm going to do is just put a little homework assignment out on WebAssign that'll have a single question on it, and it'll ask you to choose option 1 or option 2. And that homework will be due Sunday, April 19th at 11 p.m. And of course, everybody will get 100 on that, assuming you complete it and choose either one of option 1 or 2. So I hope that makes sense. And if you have questions, let me know. Email is always a good way to reach me. And in the meantime, be on the lookout. We'll continue our progress through the course over these next couple of weeks. As I said, I'm available for questions and discussions, concerns, anything you'd like to talk about. Okay, so in the meantime, stay tuned, stay well, and I will be talking to you soon. Bye for now.